Number 1. Christine grumbled. Her fiancé had taken a new job and was working crazy hours. Usually he had been pretty good about being quiet when getting home late, but the floors were creaky and Christine was a bit of a light sleeper. Oh well, not the end of the world, she thought. Reaching over, she pulled back the covers. He climbed in and put his arms around her, and they drifted off to sleep. Christine groaned and made a mental note to turn her phone off vibrate the next time she got into bed. It was morning now, fiancé gone. Poor guy, she thought. Home late, up early. The new job had been rough on them both, but she wanted to be supportive. Groggily grabbing her phone off the nightstand, she rubbed her eyes and swiped open the new text. Hey honey, sorry about last night. Hope you weren't worried. Fell asleep at my desk. Long week. Can't wait to see you tonight. Christine stared at her phone. Number 2. My roommate goes shopping every week. Not a big shopping trip. It's mostly for groceries that get used up quickly. Eggs, produce, milk, or if it's on sale. She likes catching sales because she likes higher quality things. She shops for hygiene products in bulk, which always struck me as odd because she didn't use that much of it anyway. But I realized that the reason is due to her forgetfulness to buy hygiene products. She usually overestimated how much of things she actually had and would run out if she didn't have the foresight to purchase extras beforehand. A creature of habit. She starts a list every Monday and adds to it the things that she needs throughout the week and goes shopping on Sunday when everyone else was at church, sleeping in, or having brunch. I was one of those that stayed in on Sundays. When she'd leave, I'd curl up with a book until she came back. She liked to hum when she unloaded the items into the kitchen, and that changed the mood from quiet stillness to one of liveliness. I'd like to go back to my own space and leave her to her Sunday ritual. However, I messed up. We lived in harmony, her stuff to her own portion of our place and my stuff to mine. But this Sunday, she stopped humming abruptly and I realized my mistake. It wasn't a big one, but I left my book out on the counter, which was certainly a problem. I had set it there when I replaced my teacup back in the cabinet. She didn't like dishes left out in her clean kitchen. I really had to go to the bathroom and, in my hurry, I forgot that it was still in the kitchen. The book in turn drew her attention to the kettle that was still a little too warm. I don't know if my roommate will go shopping this week. She walks around our apartment like she's going to stumble upon something terrible. She's not her happy-go-lucky self anymore. At least that's the impression I got a few days ago. She avoids the hallway where my room is. I think she realizes I'm in here. Maybe she'll look inside and confirm it. We'll see. Number 3. I tapped my fingers on the steering wheel impatiently. The light turned and my minivan plodded along.
Lutheran Mercy Hospital, 2 miles.
Good. Close. I hate navigating unfamiliar cities. I heard whimpering in the backseat from the injured girl. It's okay, sweetie, almost there, I said gently. I thought back to the press conference I watched recently. Lauren and Alan Hoyle had their daughter taken from them. The next day, the couple stood teary-eyed before neighbors, police, and reporters, begging for their daughter back. They held pictures, cried, declaring their undying love. Typical. As I drove, I thought back to other abducted children. 3 years ago, Melissa Tanner, 16, taken. Similarly, her parents pleaded for their daughter back. They spoke about how she loved life, her compassion, her dreams to play professional basketball, and how proud they were. 2 weeks later, Melissa was found in a dumpster, her legs and feet beaten mercilessly with a hammer. She survived, but wouldn't walk again. 2 years ago, Cody Mason, 14, taken. His father, single dad, turned to the community, promising everything if his son was returned. He spoke about his dedication, what a gifted computer programmer he was, what he could do with his life. 2 weeks later, Cody was found alive in a field, minus both his hands. 1 year ago, Joseph Somerset, 10, taken. His parents posted flyers. They turned to social media, desperate for their son to come home. They spoke about his intellect, how he would change the world, how he could change the world. Genius IQ. 2 weeks later, Joseph was found at a public swimming pool. He was confused and disoriented. The days went on. His symptoms didn't improve. It was determined that he had ingested antifreeze, bleach, glass cleaner, rat poison, and other chemicals. While not enough to kill him, it did severely impact his mental facilities. I turned into the hospital parking lot, driving to the unlit area in the back. As I got out of the van, I reminisced on those other children. Their parents loved them, but for what? Who they were? Or for their gifts? I opened the back door, reaching in, scooping the young lady out. She whimpered as I picked her up. Of course, it's easy to love someone for their talents and their strengths, but what about their handicaps, their flaws? I set the girl down softly on the curb. Okay, honey, I'm going to leave you here. When you hear me drive away, start screaming, okay? I asked. She nodded, hands and legs bound, a bloody tear escaping from under her blindfold. I got back in my vehicle. As I drove off, I heard the screeching start. Parents find it easy to love their children for their best qualities, but what if you took them away? Would they still feel as strongly? Alyssa, my latest, was the youngest. 4 years old, her talents had not yet manifested. As I said earlier, her parents sung her praises. They said she had such beautiful eyes. Number 4. I don't know how he found me, but he did. He keeps me with him, as his eyes, his ears. I have to make sure he's safe, protected, secret. No one can know about him. He has me bring them back here. I convince them. I am charming, not threatening, persuasive. Please, help me. I cover my tracks. I hate myself. I could never do what he does, but he lets me watch. The only time I truly feel alive in the world. I guess you could say we found each other. Number 5. My name is Luke Pettifer, and I'm the world's most amazing author. My pieces are well known across the world as the best books you'll ever read. That's all according to the press. I also have this power. You see, I never knew about it myself until halfway through grade school. I figured out by writing a love letter to Natalie Gunnarsson in 4th grade. I knew she never liked me. No girls did. They all thought I was clinically insane. Turns out everything I wrote to her came true. She was my girlfriend for a while after that. I was shocked. Now she's my wife. Years later, I realized I could use this power for good. My most recognized novel, Agony No More, provided readers a get-well-soon letter in the back. It worked. Those who had any disease, cured. Forever. I was known as the miracle author after that. But you know how life works after all anyways. The older you get, the more saneness you lose. I have not granted the world with a book in over 30 years. Maybe now would be the time to release one I've held back for some time. I know you'll all read it. It's that typical slasher book. Out of my style, however, it broke records on its release day. I like slashers because usually the killer likes to sneak up on his victims. Number 6. I picked up a stray a few weeks ago. I swore I'd never do that again, but I suppose it's human nature to have a change of heart. I took in a stray once before. I had to put him down. He got very violent. Tried like hell to bite me. Wouldn't listen worth a damn. It was a shame, but it had to be done. I took him out behind my tool shed and put a bullet into his head, right behind his right ear. I wept like a baby when I buried him. I live in a very remote area. My father built this place, and I moved here after he passed away 8 years ago. I pretty much keep to myself. I read a lot, which suits me just fine. TV and movies are just overrated. I hear something clawing in the trash out back a few weeks back, and I went to investigate. That's when I found this most recent stray, a cute little female. Poor thing looked starved. I brought her in, fed her, I gave her some milk, and she fell asleep right on the sofa next to me. In spite of what had happened before, it was love at first sight. Love is a wonderful thing, but I'm not going to let it supersede good old-fashioned common sense. Until she's housebroken, I keep her on a leash in the basement. She gets fed regularly and taken for walks, but I keep her muzzled whenever I can. It's wonderful living out in the wilderness like this, but it does have its peril. Just yesterday, The sheriff stopped by. Apparently, a little girl had gotten separated from her family during a camping trip somewhere in this general area. He showed me a photo in case I spotted her at some point. Pretty little thing. I can imagine her family is quite upset. I told him that I would certainly keep my eyes open. He and I chatted for a while, and when he left, I realized that I was late in feeding my little stray. I whipped up some food, and I went into the cellar. She was whimpering, clearly very hungry. I removed the muzzle and set the food down for her. I watched her eat, and I realized that the photo the sheriff showed me didn't do her justice. Not by a long shot. She was far more beautiful than any photograph could hope to display. I look forward to raising her. Number 7. Whenever I hear Folsom Prison Blues, it makes me wish I had the talent to write my own song about the fun I had up in Reno. See, I shot a man there too. Not just to watch him die though. I also wanted to see his wife beg and his children weep and the whole family staked out in the desert where their screams would echo for miles. Unfortunately, I can't play an instrument or carry a tune to save my life. Still, I did make some sweet sounds that day. I should have got it on tape, but it was a spur of the moment thing. It was a shame no one but I and the vultures got to hear it. I conducted that choir to a performance that would have taken your breath away as surely as it did theirs. These days I make sure to bring along recording equipment wherever I go. I've been using GarageBand to play around and experiment with what I have. So far, nothing I've put together has matched the beauty of what I wrought up in Reno. But I'm going to recapture that magic, and so much more. You see, everyone's got music in them, and I'm going to bleed it out of as many as I can. And someday, the whole world will hear the symphony I'm composing. Number 8. Hey, what's up? Sad, huh? I can always tell. We're best friends, right? I always know when you need me. Look, I got a couple things I want to tell you, but I just don't know how. Things you really need to know. Can we go for a walk, maybe? Just us? Please? Can we just go out for a walk and I'll try my best to tell you what I know and what you need to know. But I really want to get outside, out of this house right now. Oh, good. Let's go. Let's go right this minute. You need to get out of here too. Okay, good. We're out now. I feel better already. I have so many important things to tell you, but I don't think you'll understand, even if I try my best. Your dad is really sick. Not in his body like your grandma. She's really sick too, but nobody listens when I try to tell them these things. Your dad is messed up in his head. He and your mom fight all day when you're in school. He even hits her sometimes, but she never tells you. He hurts himself too. He gets so angry, and in its head it's all hate and all mad and sad all mixed together. Can we just run away right now? I don't want us to go back there. He's going to do something really bad to us if he can, soon. And I might not be able to stop him. Not if he has that loud fire thing that makes a funny burnt smell. He takes it out and holds it a lot now. When you're at school, and I know he wants to hurt everybody. You don't understand, do you? Well, I'm here for you anyway. Always. Oh, thank you. I am a good dog, aren't I? Number 9. Martin hadn't left his apartment in 8 months. His anxiety had been holding him back. His mom had been doing his weekly shopping since, but his mom had passed away a week ago. Unable to continue life, he stood on the edge of the roof. He looked down at the 8-story fall. This is it. The end. The fall was quick, and he soon kissed the ground. As he convulsed on the concrete, life passed from his grasp. An old man approached his crippled body. He walked with a cane and he was horribly disfigured. It saddens me you chose this ending, the old man confessed. But what is done. Are you ready to pass on to the next life? Martin spurted blood from his mouth in an effort to talk. Yes, he whispered. Okay then, there are 3 outcomes. You will either go to hell, where you will repeat your worst experience in life. Heaven, where you will be reunited with lost family. Of course, that's if they entered heaven. Or finally, you will remain on this plane. I don't care, just take me away from this life, Martin murmured. You have no choice, I'm afraid, the old man replied. I decide. Martin felt the life sucked out of him, and he was immersed in darkness. He awoke back in his apartment, back with his anxiety and fear. Martin was confused. Am I back to my life? Or is this hell? Number 10. I have so many things to apologize for, an old man said, panting heavily, lying on a hospital bed. You have gone through a lot of things to live without your parents. I was just a burden to you. It would have been better if I could give you more. That's fine, a little boy sitting on a stool answered, facing down. Maybe you will get paid enough death benefit to arrange my funeral. He was just staring at the ceiling with blank eyes. Yep. How can I leave you alone? You're too young to... Don't worry, I got it. The boy finally took his eyes off his smartphone and lifted his head when the old man stopped talking.